We leave Johannesburg now, we go to Lagos, and Lagos State is looking into adequately equipping itself to collect more taxes and clamp down on tax evasion. Joining us now for an update on how the state is tackling its tax challenges is Tunte Fowler, Chairman of the Lagos Internal Revenue Service. Tunte, thanks for your time. I guess taxmen are not popular people in any part of the world, and I guess what you're doing now, you certainly won't find any new friends. But just give us a sense, how big a problem is tax compliance in Lagos State, and also perhaps if you can talk generally about Nigeria?
Well, in Lagos State, it's getting much better. We've spent the last 12 to 13 years trying to educate people on the payment of taxes, and now they understand the law. They also understand the need for the payment of taxes. No nation can operate effectively without revenue, and the major source of consistent revenue is taxes. And this has been made very clear in Lagos State, and the people of Lagos State have now seen the effect of the payment of taxes through what the executive has used the revenue for.
Now, Tunde, I was looking at an article that was published in about January, and looking at those figures, it said, you know, there are about 8 million people that are supposed to be paying taxes, but out of those 8 million people, only 2 million are actually contributing. I know you are looking at tackling this problem, but what's the progress on that front?
Well, basically, there are about 3 million or 3.5 million on our database, but we believe there's room for about 5 million others that are not yet paying. We have a lot of people in the informal sector, which is a problem the world all over, but we have a lot of professionals in that informal sector that are still not filing returns and paying adequate taxes. And we've had meetings with them. We had a meeting recently with them in April, where the executive governor was the chief host, and he appealed to them and also let them know that if they don't start paying taxes and filing returns, they'll be charged to court. And we believe that if this sector is brought into the tax net, we should earn anywhere between additional 8 to 10 billion naira per year.
So how effective have been the authorities in making sure that where you come in and, for instance, if you say someone is not paying their taxes, you then come in and take action against them? Has the justice system been as supportive to you as perhaps it is in other jurisdictions where there's greater tax compliance?
Well, once we can identify individuals and we have some evidence or a means to issue a demand notice, the system works for itself. Where they don't keep accurate records, we issue what you call the best of judgment, and where they don't pay, we take them through the court process. However, a lot of them, once the court process starts, they come forward and make payments.
Right. Now, Tunde, tell us, what have been some of the complaints that you've received when it comes to paying taxes? Are they saying they're too high? And if that's the case, can we expect to see any reduction plans in the future?
Well, in Nigeria, the tax laws are actually federal laws. So it's the same taxes that you pay across all the states in the federation. Now, in terms of whether they're too high, if you take West Africa as a region, Nigeria actually has one of the lowest tax rates within the West African region. So they're not used to paying taxes. Nigerians never really had a culture of the payment of taxes, and that's the main problem. Not so much that it's too high.
Talk to us about those taxes. Give me some numbers here. What are we talking about in terms of corporate tax and in terms of some of the other taxes that businesses have to pay to operate?
Okay, let me try and give you an example of Lagos State. Now, under the Federation, every month, based on the revenue that's accrued to the federal government, they issue certain amounts to every state. Now, in 1999, the amount that Lagos State government received from the Federation was almost the same amount as was generated internally. As of last year, what we generate internally from taxes is about twice or 2.5 times what we get from the Federation account. So if you're going to try and develop your state or develop your region effectively, you need tax revenue.
Let's talk about tax regulation. We're just talking to the CEO of the South African Chamber of Commerce in the studio. I don't know if you heard our conversation, and we're talking about government bringing in another law, and government doesn't like a lot of bureaucracy. What measures are you taking as Lagos State to reduce the burden of compliance? Because business says these add to the cost, and in the end, they also add to the general cost of products and services that they provide.
Well, let me try and answer this question in two ways. Because Nigeria as a country never really had that culture of the payment of tax, even those in business also sometimes find it difficult to realize that tax payment is essential. Now, when they say it's an additional cost to business, in other parts of the world, they won't consider it an additional cost. It's a way of life. Now, what some of the businesses might be complaining about are some illegal charges or certain user charges that they have to pay, or maybe they have to pay for diesel to run their generators.
Right.
But all that is not, they're not taxes. It's just part of the cost of doing business. So they can't wave away taxation and say it's an additional cost. It's the normal way of life.